Melnyk, know your role and shut your damn mouth.
Hello and welcome to Post to Post, the channel where we discuss all things hockey and all teams. So, recently there was a big Olympic announcement from the NHL, and this is an episode we've been wanting to make for a while. It involves Eugene Melnyk, the owner of the Ottawa Senators, who had a few choice words over his tenure in the league as an owner. And this is a topic that you're a little bit more passionate about than me, and you actually know a lot more than me. So I'm going to hand this off to you to tee up.
Yeah, well, what really brought it out for me was Melnyk's run-ins with the Pittsburgh Penguins, and that's why I know so much about Melnyk. And it all kind of goes back to the Matt Cook incident with the Achilles tendon slice on Erik Carlson, and then of course we had the Crosby slash on Mathot. So there was some incidents there involving the Pittsburgh Penguins where Melnyk got really heated, said a lot of comments, and he's kind of notorious as being one of those owners that's more outspoken than the others. Obviously these guys are huge in the business world to own, an NHL franchise. But he's the one guy, to me, who speaks out the most and actually does interviews.
He's not afraid to say how he feels.
No, he's not. I do give him some credit there, but at the same time, should the owner be speaking out as much as he is? I'm not 100% certain there. And it kind of paints him in a bad picture, whereas the other owners are more tight-lipped, they're more quiet, they're more laid back and out of the spotlight. But Eugene Melnyk kind of embraces that, and he's always willing to talk. And I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. But he recently spoke out about Carlson, because Carlson had stated, as well as many other players, that he wanted to participate in the Olympics. Don't blame the guy. It's international stage, represent your country, huge honor. It would be an amazing experience. So obviously Carlson wanted to go, but Melnyk had some choice words to kind of go against that. And
Neil this is a pretty crazy quote, actually. It's wild. So he says, "So I'm going to give Sweden my best player at the risk of him being injured, beating our Canadian team. That doesn't make any sense. Maybe if it was a Canadian going to play for Canada, maybe. But right now, it doesn't make any sense for our franchise, and it's not fair to our fans if we were to lose him, God forbid, into a year like this to an injury in the Olympics." So, ouch. Could this create tension between the Senators captain and the team owner?
Obviously, yes, because, you could take that quote many different ways, but what really stood out to me was, if Erik Carlson was Canadian, you would grant him the ability to play in the Olympics? What the hell is that all about? Really, that's the type of stuff you don't want to be saying. Yeah, and this is my issue with, an owner speaking up about certain things. It's not really a good thing, and he kind of stuck his foot in his mouth there, whereas if his captain were a Canadian, he would consider it. Are you kidding me? Do you really have that low amount of faith in Canadian hockey that you think Erik Carlson's going to be the huge difference maker that's going to be the upset factor at the Olympics and have Canada defeated? I highly doubt it. Yeah. Although Erik Carlson is an amazing player, but still, that just came off completely wrong. But I do see a little bit of the argument saying that, well, the fans will miss out. Not really, because if you do go to the Olympics, the league is shut down for 2 weeks, right? So that is another part of the quote that makes absolutely zero sense, right? I think the only thing that really would make sense is that the fans would lose out if Carlson does go over, play in the Olympics, gets a serious injury while there, and then therefore misses, maybe even the remainder of the season after the Olympics closes. So I think that's the only part of that quote that really kind of makes a little bit of sense, and you can kind of see his point a little bit. But more injuries occur just in daily practices and morning skates than at the Olympics. And it just really, really aggravates me that owners are really against this. It just really bothers me.
Yeah, and two things here. Number one, in my opinion, the nationality of a player plays no bearing in whether they go to the Olympics or not. He can't say that if he was Canadian, he'd let him play. Yeah. That's a ridiculous thing to say.
Horrible.
And number two, for me, the World Cup and the Olympics are the exact same thing when it comes to injuries. So Melnyk voted in favor of the World Cup, but he voted against the Olympics. So his injury statement is zero to me, because you can get injured in the World Cup. So if you're voting in favor of the World Cup and you're okay with Carlson playing in that, who might get injured and not be able to play for the Ottawa Senators in the season coming up, how can you vote against the Olympics for the same reason?
There'd only be two reasons there. One, the World Cup doesn't interfere with the NHL regular season, and two, the NHL profits off the World Cup in a huge way.
Yeah, but if Carlson gets injured in the World Cup before the season and he's out for 6 months, that affects the regular season of the.
It does, but hey, Melnyk's still profiting off him while he's playing in the World Cup. When he's over playing in the Olympics, Melnyk's not making a cent at that time.
He can say it's about injuries all he wants, but
it's all about
the
money.
dough.
That's the only reason why they are, franchise owners. And I bet you, I hate to speak for them, but I bet you there's a lot of them that aren't even, big into sports. They're big business guys, and it's just all about money, money, money. Some of them even look at it as a status symbol. Hey, I own a sports franchise. It's a great conversation starter with a lot of these guys.
Yeah, and I mean, we're not saying Melnyk's stupid. He's obviously a multi-millionaire, potentially billionaire. I don't know how rich he is, but so he's obviously not stupid. He knows, he's a smart guy, but he doesn't seem to have the filter that all of the other owners have, and it's caused some problems.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like, the Matt Cook incident, how he was going to have a forensic investigation done to prove that Matt Cook took out Carlson on purpose, blah, blah, blah. Wow, the internet had a field day with those comments at that time, and that was, a few years ago. But again, the guy just keeps surfacing. Any time that there's a current issue or current event, Melnyk always has his say. And at the end of the day, I don't think he should have had his say, because he just kind of makes himself look really, really bad. And if anything, this will only tarnish the relationship between him as the team owner and Carlson as the captain of the Ottawa Senators. Now, if I'm Erik Carlson and I heard this quote and it's directed, 100% at me, I would be furious over it, and my relationship with him would never be the same again after something like that, because he's basically calling out his nationality and using it as an excuse not to allow him to go to the Olympics.
So if this escalates and Carlson or the tension between Carlson and Melnyk grows, do you think Carlson would request a trade?
Why not? Why would you want to play for an owner and, make further money for that owner if you really hated the guy, or if the guy, really hated you, if there's a tarnished relationship there? Why would you allow that to continue? To me, it would make no sense.
Yeah, Melnyk is speaking as if he owns Carlson as a piece of property. And, I mean, in a way, he kind of does, but really, he doesn't. Carlson's a human being. He can do whatever he wants. If he doesn't want to play for Ottawa, he's not going to play for Ottawa. You can't control that as much as you may think that you can. You can't. If Carlson wants out and he doesn't like you, Carlson will leave. And you know what? There's 30 other teams, including Las Vegas, who would be very interested in having an Erik Carlson on their blue line.
Hands down. And I think as the days progress from the NHL announcement, not participating in the Olympics, I think Melnyk, as well as other owners and players, will be a lot more outspoken, regarding this topic. And we're going to see a lot of interesting quotes coming from both sides, because obviously majority of the owners are against it, and in my opinion, majority of the players are for it. So it's going to be very interesting to follow here on out, but I don't think we're going to hear or see a lot of that until the playoffs are done.
Yeah, this conversation is definitely not over, and not for the NHL, not for the players, not for the Olympics, and not for us. We're going to be talking about the Olympic situation for a while now, for the upcoming year. So it's going to be an interesting journey to see what happens. And at the end of the day, I think we both have the same opinion. We want to see best on best players play in the Olympics, regardless of what it takes to make that happen. But yeah, we appreciate you guys watching the video. If you haven't seen our Olympic video we did the other day, I would suggest go to watch that. If you're looking for a fun video, we just did trivia, so I think people will enjoy watching that. And what else? Oh, we did reading mean and nice comments, which got a few laughs. So if you haven't seen any of those, definitely go check those out. If you're new here, subscribe. If you like the video, hit the like button. That always helps. And until next video, we'll see you then. Adios.
Stay.
All right.
There it is. We got it.